Hi everyone, a very big welcome to the Real Talkshow, the key to all your property matters. With us in the studio tonight, we've got Justin and Marcus.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Well, in our earlier episode, we actually touched on this replacement tenant. So, a lot of viewers has been calling in, messaging us and asking, what is a replacement tenant and how can they actually get a replacement tenant? So maybe Marcus or Justin, any of you, tell us more.
Okay. Earlier episode we talked about the diplomatic clause. So what if the tenant is a company, or MNC? So in this case, the tenant is the company, so it's the one that signed the lease. So they want to reassign an occupier. So this is also called a replacement tenant. For example, they stay only for 3 months or 4 months. Okay, then this tenant, this occupier, been transferred out of the country. So the company actually they will reassign another occupier from their company or the new staff to stay in. So this is a replacement tenant. Another way of talking about replacement tenant is if, let's say, what if it's a personal lease? Then the tenant say that this tenant, they really honor the tenancy agreement. So they inform the landlord, dear sir, I may have to leave the country in about 4 months time or 5 months time, I know that I did not fulfill the diplomatic clause, so what should I do? So usually agents like us step in, so we will advise the landlord and advise the tenant how to resolve this matter is that we tell the landlord, look, the tenant will find a replacement tenant for you at the same price, but subject to your approval. Okay, for example, this is a studio unit, we rent to only 1 to 2%, cannot be a family, or I should say that the request. So for example, let's say the replacement tenant cannot ask for new things or ask for more things. If they want to ask, their existing tenant will pay for it. So usually these are...
Basically, I think what is very important is if a tenant has to terminate or has to leave the country for some reason and to find a replacement tenant, normally, under normal circumstances, is that the tenant is already in a little bit of trouble. So it is sometimes I feel that yes, the tenancy agreement is there, is to enforce everything, but I do have a lot of landlords, they are very understanding. So they say, okay, I also don't want to make things difficult for you. It's like, oh, you are already struggling, so I give you another two kick, make sure you sing. No. Most of them they are quite okay and quite understanding lah. The key thing is
empathize them.
Empathize, yes. Empathize the situation, and then everybody, okay lah, give in, then everybody happy. So yeah, Singaporean, I feel quite understanding.
So what happens if they are unable to find a replacement tenant? Should the landlord, try to force or just take the deposit, or what happens when that happens?
If it's a personal lease, then usually I will advise the landlord that maybe you forfeit the 2-month deposit, then we move on. I find you a new tenant. If let's say it's a company lease, usually we will speak to the tenant agent or the HR, then we ask for compensation. So there's always room for negotiation to make everyone happy and a win-win out of it.
Yeah,
nobody want to sue anybody.
For example, it's like if they have a remaining lease of 8 months. So technically, yes, the landlord can demand 8 months of rental. Maybe if 1 month is 5,000, we are talking about 40,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then the poor fellow don't have 40,000, they lost the job already.
So normally 8 months, so we say, okay, can, so maybe, okay lah, you pay me 2 months instead of 8 months, 1 month.
No, 2 months on top of the deposit, 2 months, so it's 4 months. So just move on, half lah.
Everybody happy, just move on. So there's a lot of ways to do it. No hard and fast.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. Well, this is the Real Talk Show, and you heard their answers tonight. Good night.
Bye-bye.